Dear students of class 9A and 9B, welcome to my history class. Today the same topic, the Mughal Empire, with the following points mentioned in the board. Please look at it. First point, Shah Jahan. Second, Aurangzeb. Third, comparative study between the reign of Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. Religious policy of Aurangzeb. Rajput policy of Aurangzeb. First one, Shah Jahan. Who was Shah Jahan? You know, Shah Jahan was the son of Selim or Mughal Emperor Jahangir. Jahangir called him by his nickname Khurram. When he was Prince Khurram, Jahangir gave him many responsibilities and he shouldered it very successfully. That's why Jahangir realized that it was Khurram, Prince Khurram, who would become the next Mughal emperor after his death. But there was a pressure on him on the part of his wife Nur Jahan for his another son, Darasuko. But Shah Jahan, was careful enough to have noticed the changing political scene of Delhi, because his father Jahangir was severely ill at any time. There was a possibility of his sudden death. That's why Prince Khurram's father-in-law and Prince Khurram himself, both of them were very much careful and alert of the changing political scene of Delhi. But as soon as Jahangir died, Shah Jahan immediately reached Agra and occupied the throne. There was a possibility on the part of Nur Jahan, because Nur Jahan wanted to make an emperor of Mughal dynasty. He was trying to make another brother of Shah Jahan to be the Mughal emperor, but it was not possible, only because of the tactics of Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan immediately reached Agra and then he declared himself to be the next Mughal emperor. Shah Jahan, was a great ruler of the Mughal dynasty. He was a brilliant strategist and capable administrator who ruled Delhi for 5 years. During his reign, during the rule of the Suri dynasty, when Shershah Suri came to power, he improved the revenue system, organized the army efficiently, and started many welfare projects. Who was he? He was Shershah Suri. But Shah Jahan also followed the same technique and method what Shah Jahan's grandfather Akbar followed, what Shah Jahan's father Jahangir followed. Shah Jahan himself also followed the same technique, same method, and also brought a remarkable, return in the field of revenue collection. So peasants and farmers had no problem. They paid high amount of revenues to Shah Jahan, and Shah Jahan financially, Shah Jahan was able to make his empire very much strong. Shah Jahan ascended the throne in the year 1628 after a brief span of power struggle with his brother Shahryar, who was eventually arrested and blinded. Shahryar was arrested and later on he was blinded. The initial 3 years of Shah Jahan's rule was disturbed by the rebellions of the Bundela chief Jahar Singh and Khan, Jahal Lodi. it was finally suppressed. Shahjahan suppressed it. But as I mentioned earlier, that Shahjahan was a good strategist. So by applying his power, sense of knowledge, by applying his presence of mind, Shahjahan was able to bring Ahmednagar, Golconda, Bijapur under Mughals' control and appointed Aurangzeb, his son, as the viceroy of Deccan to administer these areas. But ultimately, in 1639, Shahjahan recaptured Kandahar from the Persians without fighting, only to lose it again to Persian Shah Abbas II in the year 1649, never to be recovered again. It was due to an effort of Shahjahan it became possible. The regions of Golconda and Bijapur were also brought under the control of the Mughals. In 1602, during Shahjahan's rule, the Portuguese whose outposts were located at Agra, Ahmedabad, Surat, Cochin, Patna and Negapattana, they created the Dutch East India Company. By September 1657, Shahjahan fell sick with only his elder son Dara by his side. Shuja was the governor of Bengal and Murad was the governor of Gujarat, crowned themselves as the governor of Gujarat. In 1658, Murad joined Aurangzeb forces and attacked Agra, making Dara flee from Agra. Thus, Aurangzeb brought the control of Agra fort under himself and imprisoned Shahjahan. Between 1658 and 1661, all the remaining sons of Shahjahan were either killed or executed. By whom? By Aurangzeb. Shahjahan passed the remaining years of his life till 1666 in captivity. During that time, Shahjahan was looked after by his daughter, and daughter means one daughter of Shahjahan and the sister of Aurangzeb. She was given, the responsibility to look after her father, Shahjahan. And Aurangzeb ascended the throne in the year 1658, and then he assumed the title Alamgir. In his formal coronation took place on 5th June 1659 after the Battle of Khanoa and Deurai. On being officially crowned in 1569, he abolished octroi tax and the inland in-transit duties. Many oppressive land revenues and taxes were also eradicated. Throughout the 50 years of his rule, Aurangzeb extended the reach of the Mughal Empire to its peak, ranging from western Kabul to eastern Chittagong and northern Kashmir to southern part of river Kaveri. In spite of his success, Aurangzeb was not happy. Why? Because of his wrong religious policy. Now I should discuss about a comparative study of the reign between Aurangzeb and Shahjahan. Shahjahan was a liberal ruler. The process of religious intolerance actually was started during the reign of Shahjahan. But Shahjahan, during his early life, he was totally tolerant ruler. He did not allow any Indians to be ill-treated during his reign, because he knew that it was a Hindu majority country. That's why they should be given, special honor. And at the same time, he also honored his brother, his Muslim community, his own community, and other communities of India, other communities who lived during that time in India. So everywhere, Shahjahan established a reign of equality, where there was no injustice. Besides, Shahjahan, the construction work of Shah Jahan gave him a permanent place in the history of not only India but in the history of the world. If we go to visit that very interesting historical sites like Shah Jahan's Taj Mahal, Red Fort, and then Red Fort, Shah Jahan's Taj Mahal. These are the buildings which were constructed by Shah Jahan, and another one Shah Jahan constructed. Each and every work of Shah Jahan's, architects, painters, they all left no stone unturned to make it very much decorative, very much attractive among the, visitors. So now, till today, visitors of different parts of the world, they usually come and enjoy with the architectural structures constructed by Shah Jahan, like Shah Jahan's, Taj Mahal, like, Red Fort of Shah Jahan, like Jami Masjid of Shah Jahan. So these all were constructed during the reign of Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan constructed it, and till today, these are, historical sites. Travelers of different countries of the world, they usually come and visit these places, these historical sites. Till today, it is very amazing and attractive for them. And the comparative study of Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb was religious. Aurangzeb followed a policy of religious intolerance. During his reign, many Hindu leaders became very much offended of the rule of Aurangzeb. They were Sikhs, they were Jats, they were, Satnamis, Marathas. So each and every races of India, communities of India, they were not happy with the rule of Aurangzeb. Although Aurangzeb ruled for 50 years, there was a long-term rule under his during his time, but he was not happy during the last half of his reign because of his strong policy. It was Aurangzeb who reimposed jizya on the Hindus, non-Muslims, and made them very much dissatisfied. Besides, Shah Jahan wanted to drive out the Marathas from India, because the Marathas openly challenged the authority of Shah Jahan, and they wanted to make one all-Indian empire instead of the reign of Mughal Empire. That's why Aurangzeb was scared of the Marathas. So in order to crush the influence of the Marathas, Aurangzeb decided to stay at the Deccan for many years. And next, when he was staying at Deccan, in order to crush the Maratha influence, he required huge amount of money. It was only Bengal appointed one Diwan, Murshid Quli Khan, who started collecting revenues from Bengal and sending it for Aurangzeb. So somehow Aurangzeb managed his financial crisis, but Aurangzeb was unable to defeat the Marathas. Although there was no unity among the Marathas, yet the Marathas were able to defeat, to protect, safeguard the interests of their kingdom, and Aurangzeb was unable to defeat them because the Maratha technique, the Maratha warfare, the Maratha style of fighting, made him very much scared. So he could not find out the ways by which he could fight against the Marathas. It was guerrilla warfare method of the Marathas. Aurangzeb could not estimate them properly, and as a result, the Marathas were able to create problems for Aurangzeb. And Aurangzeb forces, although attacked them from time to time, but Aurangzeb was unable to defeat the Marathas. Besides, Aurangzeb made a very large kingdom, and that very kingdom he was unable to control. The kingdom was beyond beyond his control. He was unable to control it single-handed. That's why the rule of the Mughals during the reign of Aurangzeb, during the last half of Aurangzeb's reign, there was no administration, there was no proper and good policies for the country's people. Everywhere there was irregularity, and Aurangzeb was unable to control it because he remained busy in tackling the Marathas at Deccan. So almost all the time the capital remained empty. There was none to rule the capital, and as a result, administration was totally broken. And during the reign of Aurangzeb, the wrong policy, the religious policy, and the Rajput policy, these all, made him very much unpopular ruler, because the Rajputs who gave their best efforts for the all-round development of the country during the reign of Akbar, during the reign of Jahangir, and at last Shah Jahan, that very race, Rajputs had become a great enemy of Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb made them his enemies. The Rajputs, the Marathas, the Bundelas, Satnamis, Sikhs, they all had become enemies of Aurangzeb. So during the reign of Aurangzeb, the financial crisis and burden during the last half of his reign also paved the way, marked the end of the rule of Aurangzeb. So up to this, my dear students, next day, the remaining part.